The following is a production of the Averett Sports Network.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Averett University Football on Averett Sports Network. My name is Matt Johnson, the Dean of AU Sports. We are set to bring you the Guilford Quakers and the Averett University Cougars. Averett coming into this game 1-1 here to start the season. The early going of the year starting to take shape as teams start to shape an identity in their offense, defense, and special teams. Averett has not started conference play. Won a huge Week 1 matchup with Hampton-Sydney, lost last week in a big matchup against Randolph-Macon. All three teams this year, including Guilford, a part of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Guilford comes into this game 2-0, a big win over Methodist last week. So a couple of notable comments here as we start our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show here on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. A nice sunny day, sun starting to set here as we are about 22 and a half minutes from kickoff. This is the 17th season of Cougar football, third year under head coach Cleve Adams. Wide receiver Terrence Owens last week had a career high 165 yards receiving at Randolph-Macon. One of the bright spots for this team, as Kelly Hall also threw for over 200 yards for the 8th time in his first 11 career games. So some offense being displayed by the Cougars in their defeat to the Yellow Jackets. a team that put some points on the board, over 40 points put up on this Cougars defense last week. They'll look to change that this week against Guilford, who did a fine job of putting up points last week against Methodist in a strong victory over the Monarchs. It was the rushing attack for Guilford, over 400 yards on the ground as a team, 416, which broke the previous school record of 389 set against Greensboro College in 2000. Also, Derek Bell, running back for the Quakers, was the workhorse last week, almost 300 yards rushing alone. He had 295 yards against the Monarchs, which is fifth all-time in the ODAC conference history, and completely shattered Guilford's previous school record for an individual rushing mark of 265 yards, which was set by David Heggie of 98. So a record that stood for almost 20 years, broken last week by a workhorse running back, the sophomore Derek Bell. He was a big factor for the Quakers last year on special teams, kick returns, punt returns. He was good. He was essentially their Travis Jones, sparking big plays for the Quakers all throughout special teams during the course of the season. So we're going to get a little more in-depth look here as we continue our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show here on Averett Sports Network. Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. 20 minutes to kick off. Welcome back to our Averett Sports Network Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. Matt, the Dean of AU Sports Johnson, here on the dial for you folks at home, looking at some of our more in-depth information here in our matchup as we break some of this down for you. The all-time series between Guilford and Averett. They've met 11 times here as a part of the football series. Guilford won last year in Greensboro, 58-21 in Greensboro. So Averett lost last year, looks to change that this year, and Averett had won 7 of the first 8 meetings between the two teams. They hold an 8-3 mark in the series. We mentioned Derek Bell for the Quakers on the ground earlier in our pregame show, rushing for 295 yards last week against Methodist, and we're looking at some of the experience up front for the Quakers. Left tackle Wes Johnson, 280-pound redshirt senior, was first team All ODAC last year as a junior. He was second team All ODAC in 2013. He's a redshirt senior, missed some time last year with redshirt right tackle Ty Schwalen, 6'1", 290-pound junior. He's been Guilford's best graded offensive lineman in the past 6 games. That's an important note for your right tackle. Did not capture all ODAC honors last year, but 2 others that did for the Quakers. Pat Charvat and Stephen Gordon also in the mix, coming back from last year, all ODAC performers for the Quakers. Definitely something the Averett defensive line is going to have to stand up to here in the early going. That's an offensive line that can break you down, wear you down, and if you start to fold in the early mix, they'll take over the game. And if you look what happened last week, 416 yards rushing for the Quakers results in a big victory over Methodist. So also in the running game, switching back to Averett, Sean Bowman ran for a career-high 199 yards and a touchdown in the season opener against Hampton-Sydney. And he's also second in yards per game in the USA South. So a hot start for Bowman. Also in the mix for the Averett running game, Travis Jones. We'll see him on special teams as well. Averett, a host of backs coming out of the backfield, including Kelly Hall, the quarterback for the Cougars. He can tuck it and run as well. He's got only 19 carries for 44 yards on the season, but he had a huge scramble for a touchdown. It was in week 1 against Hampton-Sydney. A big moment for the Cougars, really lifted this team to victory. He can tuck it and run as well. He's got some moves, and watch out for him scrambling out of the pocket and throwing it downfield as well. He really likes that vertical passing game, has some success with it too, especially with a huge 6'4" target in all-conference wide receiver for the USA South and Averett Cougars, Terrence Owens. He's a huge target and can really go up and attack the football at the high point for Averett on the outside. Miles Bennett, Michael Barber Jr., Drew Davidson also rounding out some of the starting receivers, and Drew Davidson, the tight end, for the Averett lineup. Also, some big targets for Kelly Hall in the aerial assault. And looking at defensively for the Cougars, we mentioned the big rushing game and the offensive line for Guilford. One of the leading tacklers, Connor Showalter. He's got 12 tackles for the Cougars to lead the way. Dejon Brooks, a big pass rushing force and a pretty stout defensive end on the edge for Averett. He's got 8 tackles, 1.5 sacks in the first 2 games as well. The kicking game for Averett, an area of possible improvement as the season goes on. Freshman Cole Westbury, 2 for 6 on field goals to start the season. One of those, a long attempt in week 1 against Hampton-Sydney. A tough kick. Definitely has some leg strength, and he's been very accurate on his extra points, 6 for 6 on the season. We look for him to continue to get better, continue to put it through the uprights when he can. Definitely something to watch as the season goes on. Averett, a strong history of very strong special teams throughout the time of football being here in Danville for the Cougars. All 17 years, it seems like Averett is always consistently able to put out a top-notch special teams unit in the conference every year. So we're going to look real quick at our Trophy and Science Center refresher of last week's game. For the Cougars, we talked about Guilford and their big win versus Methodist. It was Averett taking on Randolph-Macon. A tough start for the Cougars against Randolph-Macon, 24-10 at halftime, and seemingly Randolph-Macon just able to pull away, really running down the clock, able to put points on the board throughout the remaining second half. Terrence Owens, however, we mentioned 165 receiving yards, a career high last week. A huge game for that young man. We look for him to be a standout here today. He always seems to put on a big show, especially in these night games. A lot of night games on the slate this year. Last year he seemed to really shine along the perimeter for the Cougars. So last week against seemingly what he sees every week, a size matchup in his favor against Randolph-Macon, 9 catches, 165 yards, and a touchdown. For him, actually, the touchdown came against Hampton-Sydney by mistake. So Sean Bowman had 52 yards on the ground and a touchdown last week. Look for him to be another force. He seems to feed off of the more touches he gets. The better he gets. So as the game goes on, wearing down the defense, almost like what we spoke about with the offensive line, for Guilford and Derek Bell for the Quakers. Continue to give him the ball and continue to see what happens. He should get better as the game goes on. He's a tough guy to bring down. Not the biggest running back in the USA South or even the ODAC for that matter. but definitely a hard runner, stays low to the ground, protects the football, and he always fights for the extra yards. He had a little trouble with that last week against Randolph-Macon. We'll look for some improvement here against Guilford. The 1-1 Cougars taking on the Guilford Quakers. Stay with us here on Averett Sports Network. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and join Averett Chaplain Scholar Daniel, who will lead us in tonight's prayer.
Loving God, we live in an anxious and divided world, but tonight we are blessed to come together in friendly athletic competition. We are blessed to cheer for our young men, to celebrate with friends and family, and enjoy our peace and freedom. We pray that you will bless this evening. Keep our young athletes safe, and may they play the game with dignity and respect. In your holy name we pray, amen.
Fans, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Senior Theater Major Ja'Cory Jones.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And we are back here on Averett Sports Network. Our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show getting wrapped up here as we lead up to kickoff. Under 5 minutes to go. The team coming out of the tunnel here in a few moments. We're going to take a quick look here as we get ready for our Chick-fil-A opening kickoff. Get your tailgate party started off right with the off-the-grill taste of a Chick-fil-A grilled sandwich or the savory flavor of their chicken nuggets. Chick-fil-A has 2 locations in Danville, one on Riverside Drive and one in the Danville Mall. So we're now going to move to our Woodrow Auto Mall keys to a Cougars victory here on Averett Sports Network. Our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show coming to a close. Your keys to a Cougar victory. I'm going to look at the linebackers and the safeties for the Cougars. I'm going to be talking about Antoine Harper, Dejon Brooks playing more of an outside role, Caleb Williams, A.J. Cheeks, Jamal Forney, Desmond Springs, all these guys here, the safeties and backers in this 4-2-5 for the Cougars defense. I'm going to look for help in the run game, support coming from the safeties, trying to stop and load up against this very solid run blocking Guilford offensive line and a very, very good running back in Derek Bell. So definitely a key to the Cougar victory. I'm looking for this Cougars up front to keep Guilford under maybe around 150 yards. I think that might be a key. You're going to give up some big plays. You got some real good players on the other side of the football, but if you can keep this team from hitting a huge number in the ground game, I think you're really going to force this team out of its comfort zone and establish a tempo for yourself on offense and defense just by eliminating that for Guilford. So stopping the run and forcing Karsten Miller for the Quakers to throw the football, hopefully in some third and long situations, second and long situations. That is my key to a Cougars victory. So we're now going to get ready for the coin toss and get set here on a Week 3 matchup. It is the Guilford Quakers and your Averett University Cougars here coming up next on Averett Sports Network. So as the captains are out for the coin toss, we will get into our daily 7 starting lineups here for the Cougars and the Quakers. Guilford has won the toss. They will receive. So Guilford will run their offense on the field after the kickoff. It'll be Karsten Miller leading the charge at quarterback. Derek Bell, we mentioned him quite a bit in the pregame show. Hez McKinnon, a sophomore wide receiver. Rontavius Miller, Daniel Woodruff also along the perimeter and in the slot for Guilford. Tight end Trey Dill, right tackle Ty Schwalen, we mentioned him earlier in the pregame, graded out as their top lineman the past 6 games for Guilford. Right guard Corbin Barwick, center Pat Shavat, left guard Stephen Gordon, and left tackle Wes Johnson. We also mentioned him. He was an all-conference performer last year, first team in the ODAC. So the Averett defense that'll step onto the field. Victor Miller at defensive end, Tommy Lucas and Rasheed Hurst in the middle of that defensive line. Dejon Brooks at defensive end, Antoine Harper at linebacker, Caleb Williams, A.J. Cheeks, Jamal Forney, and Desmond Springs at safety, and Caleb Williams is going to be a linebacker. Tyreek Abel at cornerback, along with Bradley Jefferson to round out the defensive backfield for the Cougars defense. We'll bring you the Averett offense and the Guilford defense when we switch possessions. So that was your daily 7 starting lineups here at Daly Field at the new Frank Campbell Stadium in Danville, Virginia. It'll be Cole Westbury set to kick off for the Cougars. Guilford back to receive. Derek Bell, Rontavius Miller ready to run back. And they're going to pooch a high short one. It's going to be caught by Miller at about the 16-yard line, and a beautiful special teams play by Coach Cleve Adams on the high coffin corner-like kick. Only a 3-step lead up for Westbury. Usually on a kickoff, you're going to get maybe a 10-yard run-up. Right there, it was almost like he was kicking a field goal off the tee. A nice high coffin corner style kick. The coverage team for the Cougars able to take down Rontavius Miller. So here comes the Guilford offense. Karsten Miller at quarterback. That is Derek Bell in motion and incomplete. The intended receiver over the middle. It's Tyreek Russell, the man in the slot for the Quakers. Here is Derek Bell to the left side, crosses the 25, and brought down. Looked like Ja'Cory Burley, the senior, on the tackle for the Cougars. Also Don Warren on that side along the defensive front. Sets up a 3rd and 4 from the 27. Miller's going to keep it to the left side, and it looks like he has a first down by about a couple. Defensive substitutions come in for the Cougars, swapping out that defensive line. 1st and 10 for the Quakers. Miller drops back, looking to his right, throws complete along the sidelines and tackled just past the 40. That looked like Russell again on the reception. The freshman wide receiver out of Durham, North Carolina. Miller over the middle, complete, first down. This is Russell again. His 3rd target on the drive, crosses the 50-yard line. That'll be his 2nd reception. Guilford marching here with 4 wide, 1st and 10. That is Bell motioning to the left. Here's Miller standing tall in the pocket, throws complete. This is Russell once again. His 3rd reception, makes a man miss and picks up a first down along the Averett sideline. First and 10 for the Cougars. Karsten Miller moving the football for the Quaker offense. Derek Bell lined up about a yard or so behind Miller. Here's the throw, incomplete. Intended for Hez McKinnon, the sophomore wide receiver out of Charlotte, North Carolina. McKinnon wanted possibly a flag. He didn't get it. Bell motions to the left of Miller, takes the handoff up the middle on 2nd and 10. He's met by a host of Cougars. Rasheed Hurst. Don Warren also on the stop. Sets up a 3rd and 5 for the Quakers. Fakes the handoff. It's going to be a read. Taken down is Karsten Miller. Behind the line of scrimmage, it's Don Warren. And it'll be 4th down for the Quakers. Very strong showing by that front 7 here in the early going. The Averett faithful on their feet. Bell steps up. Miller looking to throw, and he's sacked. Big time takedown. It's Dejon Brooks breaking into the backfield for the Cougars. And it's a turnover on downs. The only thing bigger than a 3rd down sack is a 4th down sack, and Dejon Brooks coming through for the Averett defense. And we'll look at our Averett starting lineup here on offense. Kelly Hall at quarterback, Sean Bowman, the running back, Terrence Owens, Miles Bennett, Michael Barber Jr., the wide receivers. This is Bowman. Matches Kelly. It's going to be a draw play. Good block by Bowman upfield, and it's a 1st down for the Cougars. Either right at the sticks, and yes, they will move the chains. 1st and 10. Drew Davidson rounding out the receivers at tight end for the Cougars. Wilson Gregory, Tyler Gray, Jake Comer, Spencer Dowdle, and P.J. Best. The offensive line for the Cougars did a great job last time we saw them out here at home against Hampton-Sydney in their Week 1 win. Behind the Averett offensive line, Bowman rushed for a career-high 199 yards. Man in motion, sets up trips to the right. Hall on the draw play, nothing doing. He'll lose about 3. Looking at the Guilford defense, Devin Mason, Kamar Batchelor, Quan Austin, and the man just mentioned, Gilbson Zaya. He was the man on the tackle. That is your defensive line for the Quakers. Hunter Hoots, Nathan Campbell, the linebackers. We'll get the defensive backs here in a moment. 2nd and 13. That is Davidson in motion to the right. Hall hands off to Bowman right up the middle. Rumbles forward. He'll be marked down with forward progress at the 50-yard line. Host of Quakers on the stop. Back to the Guilford defensive lineup. At the safety spots, Trevon Simmons, Carl Roberts, Julian Cuthbertson. Rounding out the safeties, Taquara Stewart and Tim Marshall, the corners for Guilford. Big matchup to watch. Terrence Owens, number 4, along your near side of the screen. This is the handoff right up the middle. It's Bowman breaking a tackle. Crosses the 30 to the 25, and he's brought down. Tim Marshall finally able to grab a hold of Sean Bowman, who rumbles for a huge gain. Sets up a 1st and 10. A 26-yard carry for the 2nd leading rusher in the USA South. This is caught. Terrence Owens over the middle. Good pass placement by Hall. Right at about the hip or so of Terrence Owens, protecting his wide receiver. A big target going over the middle is Owens, standing 6'4". Sets up a big target for incoming linebackers. It's going to be Kelly Hall throwing over the top. He got a man open. Touchdown Cougars. Michael Barber Jr., the senior wide receiver, burnt the cornerback, and the over-the-top help from the safety was late, and Kelly Hall dropped a dime. Averett with the lead, 6-0, extra point pending. Here is Cole Westbury for the point after. Cole Underwood and Kelly Hall round out the specialist unit as it's a good snap, good hold, and the kick is good. So a beautiful touchdown pass from Kelly Hall as he's able to find his senior target, Michael Barber Jr., in the corner of the end zone. Just dropping the dime over the top of the defense, beating the safety help. Just a great start on the opening drive for the Cougars. And Guilford will have to respond. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. 7-0 Averett here on Averett Sports Network. Welcome back to Averett Sports Network. Your Averett Cougars, for you Cougar fans listening at home, up 7-0 over the Guilford College Quakers. Another pooch kick high, and this one lands at about the 20, caught by Derek Bell, who will be taken down by seemingly the entire coverage unit of the Cougars at the 30-yard line, maybe the 31. Recapping that last drive for Averett, Sean Bowman had a huge 26-yard run right up the middle, breaking a couple tackles, finally brought down after 26 yards. Set up a nice throw from Kelly Hall, able to find Michael Barber Jr., the senior wide receiver, the captain for Averett, able to beat the press coverage, and with the safety help laid over the top, he was wide open. Here is Bell up the middle, breaking tackles, spins around. Looked like he was about to start backtracking, but instead he goes down after a gain of about 4. We'll call it 2nd and 6. Here is Guilford. Miller throws on the screen. Nowhere to go. Loses about 7 or 8 yards on the bubble screen. That was Tyreek Russell again on the reception. He has been the favorite target of Karsten Miller all afternoon here to start the game. The freshman wide receiver wasn't even listed on our 2 deep. Already he's got 4 receptions. Third and 11. Bell motions into a wing. Here is the throw. It is complete, close to the marker. Where will they mark forward progress? It looks like he may have it. Daniel Woodruff, the redshirt senior, on the reception. He is a huge target for the Quakers. He will not get the first down, maybe a yard shy. 4th and 1 for the Quakers in their own territory. Daniel Woodruff, the big man on the perimeter, 6'4", 205. Matching up with definitely some smaller cornerbacks for the Cougars. Jefferson and Abel, 5'7" and 5'10" respectively. Here's the handoff up the middle on 4th down. It is Bell. It looks like he has it maybe by half a yard. The front seven has been stout for the Cougars to start. Not allowing a whole lot for Derek Bell. The ends are stand-up for the Cougars. Here comes the rush. It is Miller scrambling in the pocket. Warren trying to bring him down. He will after Miller gets about maybe half a yard. It'll save from that going down as a sack, but really does nothing for the offense. A good rush by the Averett defensive line. Dejon Brooks and Don Warren providing the pressure. A big key to this game, stop the run and make Miller uncomfortable in the pocket. I think that is a big factor here, as that is Russell again, his 5th reception on the afternoon. Just 5th reception in the quarter. We still got 6.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Already 5 catches for Russell. It'll set up a 3rd and short. Averett looks like they've actually started, as this is Bell with the handoff up the middle close to the sticks. We'll see where they mark him down. Looks like he has the first. It looks like Tyreek Abel's been moved more to the safety spot than the corner. Played a lot of cornerback week 1 for the Cougars. Didn't really see him roaming over the top as a safety, but that's where he is now. Here's Miller. Throws caught. Looks like Woodruff on the far sideline. Got his feet down. Looks like he has the first down. He does. So Guilford setting up a drive of their own, trying to answer to the Averett touchdown. Here's the handoff. Different halfback in the game for Guilford. That is Hunter Causey, the junior. 5'10", 195-pounder. Trips right for Miller and the Quakers. Causey steps up. It is going to be a draw for Miller. Defensive line converges. And they bring him down after a short pickup. There is an Averett player down on the field. We'll try to let you know who that was. That is down when we come back. Stay with us on Averett Sports Network. 7-0 Cougars on top of the Quakers here in the early going. We are back on Averett Sports Network. Matt, the Dean of AU Sports, Johnson here on the dial for you folks at home. The injured Cougar, Darren Marison, the senior defensive lineman, nose tackle for the Cougars. Looks like a leg injury. Hard to speculate. We try not to here. So we hope to see him back on the field. If not, we hope everything's okay. But Averett and Guilford back on the field. Set to resume play. Karsten Miller with Derek Bell in the backfield steps up. Level with Miller. Looks to throw downfield. Has nobody. Fires. Man open. It's Woodruff. Incomplete. He was open for a split second. The gap closed pretty quick. Ball hung in the air just a little too long. And it looked like that was Bradley Jefferson, the sophomore corner, on that side of the field, able to make the big play. Closed the gap quickly, able to high point the ball, deflected away. So trips right for Miller, single receiver to his left, running back to his right. Miller drops back, has plenty of time, throws incomplete. Batted away. That is going to be Taquar Stewart. Excuse me, that is not going to be Taquara Stewart. Looks like Tyreek Abel for Averett. Got the lineups mixed up. Abel coming across from safety. Able to tip that free, so that sets up. Well, and it'll be pass interference. So Tyreek Abel got there a little too early. The Guilford sideline wanted it, and they got it. They still haven't moved the sticks. The officials still had fourth down and the original line of scrimmage marker at the 38. They're now moving that downfield, so getting ready to resume play after the pass interference on Tyreek Abel. He rotates out to corner now. That looks like Jefferson roaming over the top. So that puts Abel, a taller defender, on Woodruff on the far sideline as they get closer to the red zone. Here's Bell stepping across the 20-yard line, powering across the 15. So Derek Bell rumbles forward. Nice little cutback, able to come back across the right, taking the zone steps to the left. Corey Burley on the stop. So Derek Bell, it's been a day of tough sledding for him. Another carry on second and short. Looks like it'll set up a third and short. So Bell, 6 carries, 27 yards prior to that carry. Just over 4 yards a carry. Make it 7 for 27 now. So right at 4, 3.9 to be exact. 3rd and 1. Bell back to the right with the trip side. Play action, throw over the middle, and incomplete. A.J. Cheeks on the coverage. It's a tough defensive play. Looked like he had his right arm around the defender. Definitely not enough contact that you would expect to call. Very, very good defensive play. Able to get a hand in there without making any noticeable contact for the officials. Sets up a 4th and short. Guilford gonna go for it here in the red zone. Fake handoff. Miller keeps it. Lowers the shoulder. He's close. Pushed back, and it looks like they're gonna mark him short. We'll have to see where the spot is, but it looks as if the referees have marked him about maybe 3/4 of a yard short. The defense coming off the field. It'll be 1st and 10 Cougars on a turnover of downs. So the Averett defense has held twice here on 4th down. deep in their own territory now. It's Kelly Hall and Sean Bowman looking to get up by multiple scores. Instead, Guilford has other plans. Going to be Gibson Zaya on the big sack coming across on that right offensive side. So Averett backed up even further now after the loss of 6. After the tackle by Zaya. Kelly Hall from the gun. Going to throw. It's a swing pass to Bowman. Back to the original line of scrimmage and more. Knocked out of bounds around the 19-yard line. Sets up a 3rd and manageable for the Cougars. We will call it 3rd and 5. 3rd and 6. Kelly Hall with 4 wide. Handoff up the middle. It's Travis Jones. He will not pick up the first down. See what Coach Adams does. The offense still on the field. On 4th down, here comes the special teams unit. So deep in his own territory from his own 21, instead of going for it on the 4th and 3, Averett will punt it. It'll be Hunter Long on the punt. And Derek Bell back to return for Guilford. A good block attempt. Westbury got hit. And Bell takes it off the bounce, makes a man miss to the 40. Cutting back across field, down to the Averett 35-yard line. And a flag has come out late. A number of Cougars getting into it with a Guilford player was number 9, Kadesh Edwards, senior defensive back. And that personal foul will change the field position. Excuse me, that was actually number 3. Not number 9 for Guilford. I thought it was Kadesh Williams. The officials said number 3, Jared Davis, sophomore linebacker. So instead of a 1st and 10 at Averett's 35, it'll be a 1st and 10 from the 50. Karsten Miller with Causey in the backfield. Takes the snap, looks to throw, has time in the pocket, and intercepted! Caleb Williams! And a flag comes out late. But Caleb Williams, his 2nd interception of the season. A big-time play. Looked like all the time in the world for Karsten Miller was going to result in a completion. And breaking open along this near sideline, coming across the middle of the field, and then Caleb Williams trailing, ball just underthrown a little bit, ball hung up in the air long enough. And Williams right there to snatch it. Well, let's see what this flag is. It's presumably on Averett. And it will be. Caleb Williams got the interception. He also got an unsportsmanlike conduct. Don't know what happened to cause the penalty. Averett offense set up with a 1st and 10 from their own 16. Here is Hall. Hands off. This is Bowman to the 20-yard line.
Sean Bowman will carry. It's up to the 20-yard line. He's brought down by 20. Joey Peppers.
2nd and 6 for the Cougars. Bowman's been the main man in the backfield so far. Davidson, the man in motion. Here's the handoff up the middle. Bowman breaks back to the right side. A host of Quakers on the stop. Carl Roberts, the senior safety, leading the charge.
Right side. He's brought down by 4. Carl Roberts. Gaining up first down.
Sets up a 1st and 10 for the Cougars. It'll be a timeout on the field, or maybe not. Just a stoppage of play. Offense resets, 1st and 10 from the 26. 15 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. 2 men in motion, Raheem Mateen, and the ball is on the ground. Penalty as well. Kelly Hall falls on it.
There is a flag on the play.
Looked like possibly an illegal formation on the offense with 2 men in motion. Raheem Mateen, freshman wide receiver, and Drew Davidson both motioned at the same time. I would expect this to be on the Cougars. Excuse me, that was not Drew Davidson. That was Taylor Booz also that motioned. Let's see what the official word is. It is. It's an illegal shift on Taylor Booz. Guilford will decline. Sets up a 2nd and 15. I'll call it 14, actually. No, 2nd and 15. So Kelly Hall will let this quarter wind down, and that is the end of one here in Danville. So Averett losing a little bit of momentum with the fumble and then also the penalty. So Guilford taking the result of the play. Averett will set up on the other end of the field. It is 7-0 after 1 2nd and 15 coming up. And we are back here on Averett Sports Network. 2nd and 15 from their own 22. Here's the handoff to Sean Bowman along the right side. Flag comes out at the end of the play. Beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Daly Field at Frank Campbell Stadium. As that holding penalty will push Averett back. Make it 2nd and 20 for the Cougars. Don't have too many plays in the playbook for 2nd and 20. Here's the handoff to Bowman up the gut. Give him a handful of yards. It sets up a 3rd and long. Carl Roberts in on the stop again. Called his name a couple times. Same thing with Gibson Zaya for the Quakers. They've been very active along that defensive unit. 3rd and 18. It'll be a false start. Push the Cougars back 5. PJ Best jumped a little early. Looking at some of the offensive numbers for the Cougars, 5 carries, 47 yards for Sean Bowman. Michael Barber, the touchdown reception, 1 catch, 18 yards. This is Mateen in motion to the left. Here's Hall, tucks it and runs, lowers his shoulder, and will be brought down close to the 20-yard line. Some extracurriculars going on. And the Guilford defense makes a stop on 3rd down. Carl Roberts again right there in the middle of the action for the Quaker defense. So 4th and 16 from the 20-yard line. Kelly Hall tried to tuck it and run. Instead, here comes Hunter Long and the punting unit. High snap. Very poor punt. Punt does not make it to the 40-yard line. There's a wrestling match at the 50-yard line. No flags on either side. That's a fair way to call it. Long snapper and a Quaker special teamer playing to the whistle. Things are getting a little chippy here in Danville, 7-0 here in the 2nd quarter. Guilford with a huge opportunity, getting a chance to start the drive in Averett territory at the 36-yard line. Let's see what Karsten Miller can do. He's been intercepted and really has not been able to produce much on offense. Averett has really kept him under wraps. Derek Bell has done his best to gain some yardage on the ground, but Averett has been steadfast. Derek Bell motions to the left. It's going to be a handoff from Miller. Open ground as he cuts back to the right. And he's knocked out of bounds. Another flag after the play. Guilford is signaling this is going to be on Averett. It's another unsportsmanlike conduct here in this one. That one goes on Rasheed Hurst after the play. That's going to cost Averett 15. That's a penalty Coach Adams and this defense really could have done without. Up 7-0, giving Guilford more momentum as they started a drive in Averett territory. It's putting yourself in a tough spot. Let's see if Guilford can capitalize on the advantage they've got here. It's going to be a timeout on the field. Coach Adams has seen enough. He's going to call the team out, the entire team from the sidelines. He's going to come up and listen to Adams here during this timeout. I imagine this is going to be about the repeated unsportsmanlikes and some of the conduct here in this one. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Guilford driving. And we are back. A quick timeout here with 12:41 to go in the first half. It is 7-0. Averett on top of Guilford here in the first half. It is Guilford driving at the 14-yard line. Taking the snap is Miller. Got a man wide open. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Quakers. Wide open in the corner of the end zone, Rontavius Miller, the junior wide receiver. Along that far side, looks like he beat Bradley Jefferson, the cornerback. Guilford a point away from tying this one up. A little bit of a high snap. It's handled very well by the holder. And that is going to be Eric Fuentes, the sophomore kicker out of Georgia. Able to put it through the uprights, and we are tied at 7. So the penalties have really cost Averett here. Big unsportsmanlike conduct. Not the first one we had seen today. This one came on Rasheed Hurst. Set up Guilford at the 14-yard line with a 1st and 10 after the 15-yard flag. So Coach Adams called a timeout prior to that touchdown, trying to straighten things out. Let's see if Averett's offense can get the momentum back and clean up some of this sloppy play we've seen from both sides. Both teams have been causing a lot of laundry to be thrown out on the field. Set to kick off for the Quakers. This will be Fuentes. He's going to kick from the left hash. High end over end kick. It's going to be caught by Jones up the middle, spins down, had a crease. And you can see every time he touches the football, it's almost as if you can see a lane for him to break through. Such an electric force on special teams for the Cougars, no question about that. We will see the Averett offense coming out here shortly. 7-7, 12 and a half to go here in the first half. This offensive line's done a pretty good job. We will actually move it up as Guilford was offsides on the kickoff. So the ball spotted at the 35-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Cougar offense. Elijah Harris seeing his first action of the day. He's in the slot alongside Marcus Terry. Also on the left on the far side. Here is the handoff up the middle. Nothing doing. That's a big stop by the Guilford defense. Hunter Hoots, senior linebacker, 6 foot, 230-pound linebacker out of Winston-Salem. Travis Jones in the backfield. Excuse me, that's going to be Bowman. Miles Bennett, the man in motion to the right. Throws, caught. That's going to be Bennett. Jukes to the left, and he's close to the 50-yard line. Miles Bennett, another Danville native, along with Travis Jones. Big play by Bennett, coming in motion. Tight end to the left, running back to the right. 2 receivers left. Terrence Owens, the man at the bottom of your screen. Averett offense getting the play call. Jones in the backfield. He's going to move over to the left. And that's going to be a delay of game. So that'll push Averett back 5 more. Set up a 1st and 15 after Miles Bennett's reception and the penalty. Be from the 44-yard line. Approaching 11 minutes to go in the first half. Defense shows blitz, then backs off. Wide open. It's going to be Miles Bennett for a first down, crossing the 40. The defense started to show a lot of pressure, and at the last moment, you saw Carl Roberts, the safety, getting back to his normal depth. But no matter the case, it's 1st and 10 Cougars. Kelly Hall starting a drive of his own, trying to get this confidence back. Hall takes snap, looks right, looks left, now tucking it down, moving to his right. Got a big block, and he is hit late out of bounds. Flags come in from everywhere. Kelly Hall took a big-time late hit, gets up. Thomas Underwood, the head trainer for the Cougars, was right there on top of the action, as he always seems to be. Kelly Hall back on his feet and on the field, trying to get the Cougars fans back on their feet. Averett might be getting an extra 15 as well. There were a couple flags on the field. Let's see what the officials do to sort this out. Averett's clapping. Looks like it is. This conference, presumably about an ejection. Fans chanting, he's got to go. Instead, it's going to be a 15-yard personal foul. They said number 44. I don't see a 44 on my 2 deep. Looks like it'll still be a 15-yard penalty. So 1st and 10 from the 15, a big bonus for the Cougars now. Handoff to the right side. It's Travis Jones trying to find a hole. Crosses the 15, and that's about it. So a big opportunity for Averett driving in the red zone. So we've seen a lot of flags throughout this game here. This time it's Guilford shooting themselves in the foot. Here is Jones. It's going to be an option. Pitches. He's not going to get much. Back to the line of scrimmage, if that. Maybe lost a step or two. Sets up a 3rd and 8. Averett trying to make something happen. Regain this lead. It's 3rd down. 8 yards to go on the 13-yard line, driving into the Guilford end zone. Play action. Over the middle. Wide open. Touchdown, Cougars. Miles Bennett. Open in the back of the end zone. Opens up a 6-point lead for your Cougars. Kelly Hall. 2nd touchdown pass of the game for him. Sets up Cole Westbury for the extra point. Hall on the holding duties. Good snap. Good hold. And the kick is good. 9:10 remaining here in the second quarter. 14-7. Averett on top of one of the top teams in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, the Guilford Quakers. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Averett's kickoff. 14-7. Averett. 9:10 remaining in the first half. We are back here on Averett Sports Network. Kelly Hall, hard to have a better day than he's had so far to start this one. 6 for 6 on passes. Onside kick on the surprise. It looked like it went 10 yards. Very, very close call. Averett crowded the football as it rolled to 10 yards. This is the second home game in a row. We've seen the surprise onside kick, and it almost worked again. Let's see who came up with the football. And Guilford. Wow. A good effort by Caleb Williams, almost recovering the onside kick. But Averett caught everybody off guard on that surprise onside kick attempt. So that'll set up Guilford with good field position. Here on the Averett side of the field, this offensive line has struggled. They've given up a lot of pressure, and Karsten Miller has been very uncomfortable in this pocket. Dejon Brooks has taken him down. Don Warren almost had a sack. Miller was able to gain a yard or two and have it count as a rush. Here's the handoff to Bell, who's been stuffed all game long. Don Warren able to bring him to the ground, maybe a 1-yard pickup. So Guilford continuing to struggle here on offense, set up for their touchdown by a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Here is Miller throwing to the right side, almost intercepted. Tyreek Abel just barely getting his hands on that, almost came down with it. Instead, it sets up 3rd down and 10 on the incompletion. Takes the snap. Miller got a man in his face. Over the middle, it's Tyreek Russell. Caleb Williams tracks him down around the 40-yard line. Sets up a 4th down for the Quakers offense. Averett has been very, very strong defensively. Guilford not wasting any time. Set to go for it here on 4th and 4 from the 40-yard line. Have to get across the 36. Bell to the left. 4 receivers split. Miller looking to run. Defense converges. He's short. There is a flag on the field, however. Rasheed Hurst was able to run him down. Abel also was able to converge, come down and support. As Miller tried to scramble, let's see what this flag is for. But Averett will have their defense come off the field. The penalty is on Guilford, and it's Kelly Hall in the offense. Coming back on the field. 14-7, Averett on top. And with the ball, a chance to open it up to a 2-score lead here on this drive. Averett also will get the ball after halftime. Guilford won the toss, elected to receive. And their offense has been struggling mightily here in this one. Derek Bell coming fresh off a 295-yard performance last week, and that ball is incomplete. It is not a fumble. Very close to being a lateral, depending on if it's thrown behind the passer. That would have been a fumble. Instead, it's incomplete. Sets up a 2nd and 10 from the 37-yard line. So Averett set up with a 3rd and 10. Travis Jones to the left side, taken down by a host of Quakers. will set up a 4th down. So now Averett will bring the punting unit onto the field. It is Hunter Long in to do the kicking duties. Two offensive linemen set up behind the original line on the punting squad. Good rush by Guilford. Good punt by Hunter Long. It's Bell. He's going to take it. Big block. He's going to make a man miss. Cutting back to the right side. Going up the sideline and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Derek Bell, that's what he was known for last year during his sophomore season. Big special teams plays. He hasn't really been active in the running game. Averett's kept him very much contained. But right there, he shows what he can do, giving Guilford a much better start to this drive than originally anticipated. They will start at the 41-yard line. The offense quick to set up on the ball. This is Causey moving to the right. He will take the handoff, going right up the gut. And he will pick up maybe 3.5 yards. It's been a very, very good defensive game. Both teams really making the other offense work. A little sloppy with the penalties, but otherwise some very good football. Here is Miller. This is Russell again. He has had himself an afternoon. The freshman wide receiver, number 86, has been crushing it in the slot for the Quakers. Tyreek Russell, that is going to be his 6th reception, only 38 yards, but he has done a good job moving the chains. Causey up the middle, shaking and baking his way down to the 40-yard line, but that's only going to get him back to the original line of scrimmage. Here is Miller with Causey staying in the backfield. Sets up, standing in the pocket, throws, has a man, it's caught along the far sidelines. That is Rontavius Miller. He caught the touchdown. And it sets up 1st and 10. Guilford driving in the red zone, under 5.5 to play here in the first half. Here's a good defensive setup on the read option. Jamal Forney coming up in run support. We talked about that during the pregame show, just how important it was for these safeties to come up and run support, but still maintain a balanced coverage. This is in the 4-2-5. There's a lot of athleticism on the field for the defense. Miller sets up, looking to throw in the slant, and a beautiful hit. Undercutting the receiver, really, that was Desmond Springs, who's been playing a lot on the perimeter. He looks a little banged up right now, but he's looked good. Playing a lot of cornerback here, really rotating out with Tyreek Abel. He was the week 1 starter at cornerback, played a lot of perimeter in that one. But it's going to be a timeout right now called by Averett. So with 4:49 remaining here in the first half, Averett University on top of Guilford College 14-7. As Guilford in the red zone driving, looking to cut this lead down. We'll take a break. We'll be right back here on Averett Sports Network. So we are back here on Averett Sports Network. Guilford driving on the 15-yard line, 3rd and 11. Miller standing tall, has time, scrambles to his right, and is sacked. Kenneth Covington. And Karsten Miller a little slow to get up. It's going to be 4th and 16 for the Quakers. And we'll set up a field goal opportunity. This is going to be Eric Fuentes, the sophomore out of Georgia. It's going to be a 37-yard field goal. The hold is going to be at the 27. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is no good. So Fuentes pushes the field goal, and it stays a touchdown lead for the Cougars as the offense is set to take over. 14-7. Your score, exactly 4 minutes remaining on the clock. This Averett offense can expect to get in a little bit of a hurry-up mode.
Averett has possession. First down on their own 20-yard line. 4 minutes remaining in the first half.
Definitely got to work the clock if you're the Cougars. First downs stop the clock. Ideally, if you can take a 4-minute drive and get the ball after halftime, you can really open this thing up if things go well. This is caught by Raheem Mateen on the screen. Here on 1st and 10, that'll set up 2nd and 10. Line of scrimmage does not change.
No gain on the pass and second down and 10.
It's the second catch of the afternoon for Mateen, the freshman wide receiver. Miles Bennett leads the way in receiving for the Cougars, at least in this contest. 3 catches, 46 yards. Handoff up the middle, maybe got back to the line of scrimmage.
Travis Jones with the carry. He's brought down by Gibson Zia.
Gibson Zia has been a
Gain on the play. 3rd down and 10.
constant call-out here at Frank Campbell Stadium. He's had a very solid defensive game. Him and Carl Roberts really done a good job for the Quakers. And another handoff with nothing doing. That was Travis Jones. He'll lose about 5 or 6 on 3rd down and sets up an Averett punt. So you start the drive with 4 minutes to go in the half, and you're deep in your own territory. You're at your own 20. 3 straight carries, a loss of 5 yards, and it sets up a punt. So Averett not doing much here before halftime and possibly has set up Guilford with some good field position. This is a good punt. And it gets an Averett bounce. Beautiful bounce. And Cole Underwood, the long snapper, picks it up at the 29-yard line. So the field position battle was won on that play, but there is a flag down. Let's see what the call is on the field. And with 1:59 to go, Guilford has an opportunity to run 2-minute no huddle, try to get down the field and tie this up before Averett gets the ball at after halftime. Coach Adams on to maybe get an explanation. So Averett will decline the penalty. Really, you're not going to get much better of a punt than that. And Averett will take the field position.
With a minute 59 remaining in the first half. Guilford College will have the ball.
So after an excellent punt by Hunter Long, the Cougars defense in a much better position than it looked to be after punting from deep in their own territory. As we try to track down how long of a punt that was. It's brought his average up to 47 yards a punt. Here's Karsten Miller throwing, caught. That's going to be the 8th reception for Tyreek Russell, the freshman. 8 catches here in the first half, moving the chains on that one.
Guilford College first down. Ball spotted at the 48-yard line.
You can see Guilford appears to use a card calling system for the sideline play calling unit. They hold up really large printed cards. Miller down the middle of the field, wide open man, and it's knocked out of his hands. Tyreek Abel makes a big defensive play. That was Runtavius Miller, who caught the touchdown earlier. Had his hands on that one, but Tyreek Abel did a very good job. Abel was called for pass interference earlier in the game, getting to the defender a little too early. Timed it pretty well on that one, causes the incompletion, sets up 2nd and 10 from the Guilford 48-yard line. Throws Russell complete. Russell has done a lot of damage here underneath and in the slot. But it really hasn't changed Averett's game plan. They're going to give him that underneath, and they're not going to back off over the top. They're not going to start letting a freshman slot receiver dictate a game plan. Averett still playing pretty deep. 3 safeties up top. They were trying to get someone shifted. Here is Miller. He's going to tuck it and run. Nothing doing. That is Kenneth Covington, the Durham, North Carolina native.
And it's 4th and 6 for Guilford College.
So Guilford going to run the clock down. It looks like they're going to hold, bring the play clock down and punt it and try to leave Averett with as little time as possible. Averett will likely run it and bring us to halftime in the ensuing possession. So the timeout on the field is taken by Guilford as they bring the play clock close to 0. 23.7 seconds remaining here in the first half. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will close out the remaining 23 seconds of this first half. Right now, Averett on top, 14-7. Harrison Kaiser out to punt for the Quakers. It's a good snap. And a end-over-end punt caught by Travis Jones at his own 10-yard line. The fair catch leaves us with 16.6 seconds before halftime. So coming up in 16.6 seconds, we'll take a quick break. And then we'll be getting into our Planet Fitness halftime show. We'll look at our Kickback Jacks first half stats, our R.A. Whitlow painting and floor sanding player of the half, and our BB&T first half diagnosis, which is going to be a pretty good diagnosis, up 14-7 against one of the class teams of the ODAC, Guilford College. Averett has the lead here on Averett Sports Network, 14-7, as we head into halftime. Stay with us. Coming up, it is myself, Matt, the Dean of AU Sports, Johnson, bringing you our Planet Fitness halftime show. So stay with us. Don't turn that dial here on Averett Sports Network.
The memory and family of the late Dr. Frank Ross Kemp, and dedicate this beautiful new stadium to his lasting legacy at Averett University. From 1985 to 2002. Over those 17 years, he brought about significant changes and growth, advancing and expanding the university in new and exciting ways. His tenure included Averett achieving its university status and expanding the campus from 19 to 210 acres. He introduced the now popular graduate and professional studies program, which currently enrolls almost 900 adult students across the Commonwealth and beyond at its numerous campuses and online. During his presidency, the university constructed 5 facilities, including the Groesbeck Music Building, the Equestrian Center, the Averett Commons Apartments, this North Campus where we stand today, and the football field house. The university added the Master of Arts in Teaching and Master of Education degrees, and expanded the athletic programs to include baseball, women's soccer, and football. Finally, under his leadership, Averett raised nearly $50 million. The hearts of those who knew him and those who continue to learn, work, and thrive in the legacy he left behind are full of gratitude for his many accomplishments and his lasting impact on the entire community. We have here with us today his dear family who will accept this dedication in his honor. When Dr. Campbell passed away on March 22nd of this year, he left behind his loving wife of 58 years, Janet Hale Campbell. His daughter, Catherine Campbell Burgess, and his granddaughter, Melissa Burgess. Unfortunately, his other daughter, Donna Campbell Berkey, and grandchildren, Ross Berkey, Sarah Berkey, and Jessica Burgess, could not be with us today. For those family members who could join us, we want you to know what an impact this great man, compassionate servant, and visionary leader left on all of us. He was beloved, and his legacy lives in all those who were privileged to know him and is witnessed and experienced every day on Averett's campus. He was a true trailblazer, and we are honored to be able to build upon his many significant legacies today. The Averett community is forever grateful to him and to all of you, and humbled to dedicate this stadium to him. This multi-million-dollar project was made possible by the very generous gifts of 5 major benefactors and countless other individual donations. The project included the installation of the state-of-the-art synthetic turf and lights on Daly Field, and the construction of the new 12,500 square foot stadium, which houses the J.T. Emerson press box, the President's Suite, new stands for seating, the beautiful plaza where you enter, and more. Football and men and women's soccer have already played here, and men and women's lacrosse will grace this field starting in the 2017-2018 academic year. Please help us recognize the Campbell family, our generous donors, and the legacy of Dr. Frank R. Campbell.
Fans, please welcome the Person High School Marching Band to the field as they perform their annual routine.
And welcome back to Averett Sports Network. Matt, the Dean of AU Sports Johnson, here on the dial for you here on our Planet Fitness halftime show. Your score, 14-7. Averett out on top of one of the class teams of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, the Guilford Quakers. We got some stats for you here as we break it right down for you here, getting right into our Kickback Jacks first half stats here for you. It's been a defensive battle here in Danville to start this one. Of course, the 14-7 score would lead you to believe that, but Derek Bell, the man who rushed for a Guilford school record 295 yards last week, really has been held in check this afternoon. 9 carries, just 35 yards for him, so under 4 yards per carry. Nothing quite like his almost 7 yards per carry season average. So the Averett front seven has really done a good job. We've seen a lot of Don Warren, Kenneth Covington, and Darren Marison, who was injured earlier in the game. We've seen a lot of those guys breaking in and making plays along this stout Guilford offensive line, one of the more decorated offensive lines in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Really just a solid job defensively by Coach Cleve Adams and his staff with the defensive game plan, able to attack this Guilford front line. So Guilford has only acquired 39 yards rushing on the afternoon, so not even really anybody outside of Bell has been able to produce much. We've seen a lot of Hunter Causey in the game, trying to get a change of pace for the Quakers. He has not been able to do much. Instead, it's been Karsten Miller having to do a lot of the job with his arm through the air. Looking at some of the receiving numbers for Guilford, really their running game has almost turned into the short passing game like we've seen a lot of college football go to. Instead of using a running back that'll carry it 25 times, use a wide receiver in the slot that can be quick and agile, versatile, can get open within 1 or 2 steps, have a quick 2 or 3 step drop for your quarterback, and make a quick, accurate throw. That's what we've seen from Karsten Miller and Tyreek Russell. Russell, a freshman wide receiver, already with 9 receptions on the afternoon. Entered the game not even listed in the top 3 receivers for Guilford as far as their stats. Already has put himself in 3rd place on the team in receptions as the totals currently constituted. So a huge afternoon for Tyreek Russell, breaking down some of the slot defense for the Cougars. Really, however, it has not set them up with too much doing as far as points goes. Guilford has been very, very incapable of converting on 3rd downs. 2 for 9 here on the afternoon. Definitely not a friendly number for them. You'd like to see a team hover around at least close to 40% to be in a success range, which brings us to Averett. leading here 14-7, but still successful on third downs in the sense that they haven't seen as many third downs as Guilford, 2 for 6, so a better percentage of what they've had to convert, but still a 33% conversion rate for the Cougars, but seeing only 6 third downs compared to Guilford's 9, that's a good stat in my book. That's a number to build on. If you continue, the less third downs you see, the more success you're having. So, of course, Averett really has done a good job here on first and second down. They have not set themselves up for a lot of third and unmanageable situations, as I like to call them. Anything really over 3rd and 8, I consider to be a little long, more unmanageable for an offense. You don't draw too many plays up for a 3rd and 20 type situation. Averett has done a good job staying out of a lot of third downs. So, and part of the reason for that, Kelly Hall, 7 of 9 through the air to start this one. He's been sacked once, so that offensive line has really given him a lot of time, as well as paving the way for the running backs. Sean Bowman has had a very solid afternoon, 5 carries, 47 yards. Had that big 26-yard carry on the touchdown drive to Miles Bennett. That was the opening touchdown drive, rather, where Kelly Hall found Michael Barber Jr. for 18 yards in the back of the end zone. So we've continued to see Sean Bowman here in the early part of the season rush for close enough to 200 yards against Hampton City in week 1. We saw him go for 52 last week, and already at 47 this week. He's been the main man in the backfield for your Cougars. So that we will get more into our stats as we continue to go here on our Planet Fitness halftime show. Stay with us here on AU Sports Network. We'll be right back, and when we come back, we're going to continue to break things down. We'll have our R.A. Whitlow painting and floor sanding player of the half, and we'll also have our BB&T first half diagnosis, where we'll break down what Averett needs to do to finish this one out. Stay with us here on AU Sports Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our Planet Fitness halftime show here on AU Sports Network. My name is Matt Johnson on the dial for you folks at home. 14-7 Cougars on top of the Quakers here in Danville. Second home game of the season. Averett 1-1 coming into this one. Guilford 2-0. But right now, as always, records don't matter. We're going to enter our next segment, our R.A. Whitlow Painting and Floor Sanding Player of the Half. And really, to me, Kelly Hall was our player of the game against Hampton-Sydney 2 weeks ago in their opening game, in their only victory on the season in these first two games. Kelly Hall today has been fantastic. He's been dropping dimes all over the field, been able to stay out of pressure. He's had an offensive line that's done a great job in pass protection for him too. But Kelly Hall has been able to find some seams in the defense, know when to take steps in the pocket, maneuver in the pocket, and he's done a great job finding and completing easy passes, 7 of 9 in the game, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was able to find Michael Barber Jr. on the far side of the field, heading toward the field house, dropping one over the top. Safety coverage, over the top help was late, and press coverage was beat by the receivers, so Barber got a dime dropped into his hands from Kelly Hall for the first touchdown, and then he proceeded to find Miles Bennett on the other end zone, headed toward the scoreboard in the back of the end zone. Miles Bennett was wide open. Nice job by using his hands, bringing the ball in and putting Averett up a touchdown. So Kelly Hall has done a very good job. Definitely what I would say player of the half worthy. And again, I mean, he seems to be the heart and soul of this offense. A lot of help from Sean Bowman running the ball, but Kelly Hall makes a lot of decisions. He has to know when to pull it on the options that he runs. He had a pitch option earlier. He's completing passes. He's reading the defense in its entirety, and so far today he looks like a top flight QB here in the USA South, at least based on his performance here tonight against a very strong Guilford squad. Right around, I believe, 16 graduating seniors from last year's squad, the team that won the Old Dominion Athletic Conference in 2015. So definitely guys that are replacing those seniors on Guilford have seen some experience on the football field, if not from anything, just from last year alone. So Kelly Hall, you are my player of the half. You've done a great job against some excellent defense, and you've been able to find your receivers for a very high completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, and you've been able to tuck and run when you need to. So Kelly Hall, keep it up, and maybe you'll end up being our player of the game, hopefully after a Cougar victory. So we're going to move now to our final segment of our halftime show, our BB&T first half diagnosis, looking at some keys and improvements for the Cougars, what they need to do to stay on top of Guilford. And really, I'm just going to order another round of the same thing. I'm looking for Averett to continue to play stout defensively, get some help from the safeties over the top coming down to help in run support. Tyreek Abel played a lot on the perimeter 2 weeks ago when we last saw this team at home. We've seen him at safety a lot, doing a lot of creeping up. We've seen Burley doing a lot of creeping up in the box, and really Desmond Springs as well. Really every defender doing their part to try to keep their eye on Derek Bell, who really has been very much held in check after a breakout game last week, a fantastic running back for the Quakers. So definitely on the defensive side, got to keep the front seven clogging up those holes, not letting offensive linemen get off double teams, not letting them get a reach. Really small things like that shuts down the run game the way you need it to, just like they did in the first half. Offensively for the Cougars, I think they got to get the ball more to Sean Bowman. Not that Kelly Hall, he was my player of the half, threw the ball great, but Bowman, 5 carries. You can afford to give the young guy, the young buck, more touches. He's a workhorse for this team. Maybe play a little bit of the possession game, control the clock against this Guilford team, and try to get him in a groove here. He does get stronger as the game goes. Definitely something to keep in mind as we watch here. Coming up with the second half, so Averett set to go along with Guilford. 40 seconds before we kick off the second half. Stay with us. That was our AU Sports Network Planet Fitness halftime show. And coming up here in about 30 seconds, we'll kick off the second half. Averett on top, 14-7 over Guilford. Second half coming your way next. We are back here on AU Sports Network, live coverage of your Averett University Cougars. Thank you for joining us on our Planet Fitness halftime show. Always enjoy breaking the action to break some football down. Stay with us after the game. We'll have our English construction post-game show. And of course, follow me on GreensboroSports.com with live coverage of North Carolina A&T, recaps, previews, all the action. Here is Travis Jones on the opening kick return of the second half. Springs into the open field. He is electric every time he touches the football, folks. Crosses the 30-yard line, gives Averett some decent starting field position at their own 32. So the Averett offense coming back onto the field, a solid first half of work. Maybe not necessarily in the stat book, but they've put 14 points up on a very talented Guilford team, and they lead them right now in part because of their defense, but their offense has done a good job with the field position battle. They've been able to hold possessions, put drives together, as this is Travis Jones pushed out of bounds off after the screen pass. We'll see where he was marked out. He lost about 3. Sets up a 2nd and 13. Takes the snap. Here is Bowman running up the middle, lowers the shoulder. He's taken down by Hunter Hoots. Ball on the 36-yard line sets up a, 3rd and 6. Almost like I'm trying to give him a 5th down. Here is Hall, swings it out to Bowman. He extended at the end of the play. I do not think he got there. Ball is marked short. It'll set up a 4th and about 3. So the punting unit on the field: Cole Underwood, the long snapper, Wilson Gregory, Spencer Dowdle, 2 offensive linemen that stay on the field for the punting unit. A little bit of a high snap. Handled well by Long. High spiraling punt. It'll be out of bounds. We'll see where the official spots it. Coach Cleve Adams thinks it's out around the 32. And the official is going to walk it up to the 35, so that is where Guilford will take over. Karsten Miller back in the game with Derek Bell, who gets the handoff right up the middle, and a big hit delivered by the Averett defender. He is down. That was Ja'Cory Burley, who was a part of a huge collision. The trainers come out on the field. And Burley will come off the field. Looks like a shoulder. As we look at some of the action around the USA South, the only 3-0 team in the USA South, Huntingdon, out of Alabama, won this week. Another big victory for them. Third straight game, they've been over 45 points, put up 65 against Belhaven today, 65-21, as Derek Bell is tripped up after a couple yards. Dejon Brooks on the stop. So, as I mentioned, Huntingdon 3-0 here in the USA South, leading the conference. Averett trying to hit that 2-1 mark. Here's the 10th reception by Tyreek Russell as he is taken down by Don Warren. So the struggles for Hampton-Sydney continue as Ferrum, right now listed as the second place team in the USA South, 2-1 mark, defeated Hampton-Sydney 42-20. So Hampton-Sydney's really struggled. I can't remember in recent memory when they've struggled this much this early in the years. That pass is complete. Daniel Woodruff on the reception, the redshirt senior. He is a big target. Another reception for Woodruff. Here is the screen pass. It's Tyreek Russell. He's going to get past the 30-yard line and the sticks, taken down at about the 28. Continuing to look through our standings, rounding out in the top four with Ferrum tied for second place, LaGrange and Maryville at 2-1. Greensboro, Methodist, and Wesleyan all at 1 and 2. Averett in the mix at 1 and 1 in the early going. Conference action has not started for either of these schools in this contest. Guilford has not started competition in the ODAC. Of course, next week, Averett on the road. Excuse me. We have a flag with the incompletion. That is a spot normally associated with interference. Averett next week on the bye week. They'll have a week to recover and get ready to travel on what will be an overnight trip to LaGrange. The penalty is going to be holding on Averett. It'll be a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down for the Cougars. Actually, excuse me. It'll be a 10-yard penalty. 14-7, 10:46 remaining here in the third quarter. Here is Miller on the left side, gets upended. It is taken down. That is Ja'Cory Burley, who upends him on the play. Under 10.5 to go here in the third quarter. Up the right side. Looks like Bell. He is short. They will spot him at about the 2. Sets up first and 10. Again to the right side. The official has a mark down short once again. So Derek Bell continuing to get his touches. Guilford definitely wants to get him the football. Here's another handoff. Bell taken down in the backfield. He's spun down by Antoine Harper. Number 52, the sophomore linebacker out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. So Derek Bell's touched the ball quite a bit. He has struggled. Flag is down in the back of the end zone. "11 receptions, 91 yards for freshman wide receiver Tyreek Russell. He has really done some damage in the slot. Meanwhile, Derek Bell, 15 carries, only 55 yards for the outstanding junior running back. Over 450 yards on the ground this year in just 3 games. The penalty is too many men on the field. Last year, Derek Bell, and who's had some trouble getting this in the end zone, was 3rd in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, 943 yards rushing, the 7th best total in Guilford Quaker history. Right now, he's in the backfield. What looks like a pistol full house. He's going to be motioned to the left. He's got lead blockers. He is taken down. He did not get in. We had a perfect view up here in the press box. He tried to spin along that left-hand side. The referees were right on top of it. He is marked short. Sets up a 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Again, same formation, 2 up backs. Bell motion to the left. Fake handoff, keeper, he's in. Touchdown, Quakers. So Guilford able to answer as we get this second half in full swing. We have an injured Cougar on the ground. It looks like Tyreek Abel, and we have another flag. On the field. So Saturday, as always, laundry day here in Danville. A lot of flags. We saw 9 penalties in the first half alone. Certainly a number us broadcasters don't like. As Coach Adams comes out to the numbers to get an explanation. That penalty will be on Hunter Hoots, as he is charged with the unsportsmanlike conduct. That'll be enforced on the kickoff. So into the game comes Eric Fuentes for the field goal, or excuse me, the extra point. He missed a field goal attempt earlier in the game. He has hit his lone extra point. We have more conversation going on down at the 2-yard line. There's been quite a few conferences on the field here tonight. A lot of penalties. I guess the referees see it the way I do. It's a nice night for football. Nice night to chat. Here's Fuentes, almost blocked on the extra point, but it is through the uprights. That looked like Averett's Desmond Springs breaking in there on the block attempt. Almost got a fingertip on it. The sophomore safety for the Cougars. So your score now is 14-14, 8:41 remaining in the third quarter. We will set up for a Guilford kickoff here coming up in a few moments. Stay with us, 14-all here in the third quarter on Averett Sports Network. Travis Jones and Sean Bowman back to return for the Cougars. The kickoff coming from Fuentes, 14-14 on AU Sports Network. High end over end kick. It's going to be shallow with the unsportsmanlike penalty being enforced on the kickoff. Jones takes it from about the 19 or so out past the 40 and down at about the 43-yard line, just a couple yards shy of the 45. Travis Jones able to burst forward and give the Cougars close to midfield starting position. 8:33 here in the third. 14-all, a good football game, and some very solid defense being played here in Danville. It's going to be four wide. The receivers split, running back to the right. No tight end for the Cougars. Looking to throw. Got a man wide open, and he overthrew Miles Bennett down the near sideline. Definitely not an easy throw. Tried to drop it over the safety. Just a touch overthrown, and Kelly Hall has not done that much this evening. He has been on the money, 7 of 10 now here in the ball game. Excuse me, 8 of 10. Here is Hall. Pressure comes, and 3 Quakers are going to bring him down. That's Hunter Hoots. He was charged with that unsportsmanlike conduct after Guilford's last touchdown. Let's see what Averett does here. It's a 3rd and long, 3rd and 14 from their own 39. Under 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Kelly Hall looks to throw. It's going to be Travis Jones out of the backfield, crosses the 45, trying to break free, and he will be tackled shy of the 50-yard line. So that'll set up 4th, and we'll call it about 6. That'll bring Hunter Long back onto the field. He's had a couple of nice punts here this evening. Of course, not necessarily the stat you're looking for if you're Coach Cleve Adams. Nice spiraling punt inside the 20-yard line, and Hunter Long does a very nice job for the Cougars. Beautiful punt. Enough hang time on it. Fair caught inside the 20. That's what you look for on special teams, so some good execution will pin Guilford inside their own 20. And Averett's defense looking to make a stand, maybe change momentum after Guilford has an opportunity to get 2 straight scores. Bad snap was juggled by Bell and Miller. Bell came down with it and almost got himself a first down. The snap from the center, Pat Shavat. Looked like it went right between Bell and Miller. They both went for it. Here's Bell breaking tackles, crossing the sticks. Picks up the first down for Guilford. Sharif Bodie making the stop. One of the rotational defensive linemen for the Cougars. Looking to throw. He's going to find Woodruff over the numbers. Breaks the tackle. Crosses the 40. And Woodruff is slow to get up. We'll set up 1st and 10 from the 35 of Averett University. Guilford driving. Their big redshirt senior wide receiver, Daniel Woodruff, still down on the field, receiving medical attention. We're going to take a quick break. Your score is Averett 14, Guilford 14. 6:17 remaining here in the third quarter. We'll be right back here on Averett Sports Network. Don't touch that dial. First and 10, Guilford. From the 35, handoff to Kazi up the middle. Close to a 5-yard pickup. Tyreek Abel coming up in run support from the safety spot to make the play. For Hunter Kazi, as that is Miller who is taken down, trying to make the throw, unable to. It'll set up a 3rd and medium, 3rd and 6 for the Quakers. Derek Bell, 17 carries, 72 yards for Hunter Kazi. Not much more room, 4 carries, 9 yards. Stout defense for the Cougars. What did we say? Keep them under 150 as a team. And you got a real shot at beating Guilford, as that's a false start, and it's going to push them back further. That's one of the number one things we spoke about in our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show, stopping the run and creating an uneasy pocket for Karsten Miller. Get him some pressure. Load the box. Make him throw. Here is Miller. To throw. No pressure. Still gets hit. Finds his man. That is Hunter Kazi, who makes a heck of a catch, spinning down across the 25. He does have a first down. So now Guilford has got all the momentum in the world. Even after the false start penalty, Guilford in control right here. Kazi steps up, takes the handoff. Roaming to his right, he is tackled by a host of Cougars.
Brought down by several Cougar defenders.
Averett doing a good job of swarming to the ball, but they need to get Guilford off the field. Almost jumping off sides. Here's the throw. It's complete to the outside. He is tackled past the first down marker. It is a first down. That was Ross on the reception. Here is Miller. He's got Bell in the backfield looking to throw. He does to the left side, falling backwards in the end zone. Touchdown, Guilford. That one complete to Bo Howard, the freshman wide receiver out of Moore, South Carolina. And Guilford has taken the lead, 20-14, 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. And that extra point is no good. That could be very costly for the Quakers.
4:29 in the third quarter. Your score, Guilford College 20, Averett University 14.
We spoke about the special teams execution and how solid Averett has been. That time Guilford unable to execute on the point after, so it's a 6-point lead, 20-14, 4.5 minutes to go in the third. Coming up, Guilford kicking off to Averett. Averett needs to answer. Stay with us on AU Sports Network. And we are back. End over end kick. This one's high to Travis Jones. Caught inside the 5. He's going to break into the open field. Crosses the 40 to the 45. And that looked like Fuentes, who was able to step in front and slow him down until the cavalry came. Travis Jones, so explosive. And Averett set to come back here after the Guilford touchdown, maybe regain the lead. Terrence Owens coming off the field. Averett still with 3 wide, tight end to the left. Running back is Jones to the right. No, it's Bowman. Instead, he's got a huge lane on the misdirection. Crosses the 30 to the 25, spinning inside to the 24-yard line. Sean Bowman. A very simple misdirection play, and the whole defense went to their left, and Bowman just cut it right back. Beautiful play by the Averett offense, and the offensive line doing a great job paving the way. Here is Bowman again to the left, back to the middle and inside the 20, getting the Cougars in the red zone. Guilford's defense reeling. sets up a 2nd and 5. Ball at the 24. At the 18. Handoff. Bowman right up the middle. Offensive line giving some push. Pyle still being pushed. Past the marker. First down, Cougars. And the Averett home faithful giving Bowman a round of applause for a great sequence. The offensive line, too, just so much execution in those past couple plays. The beautiful misdirection that put Averett in this great field position on the opening play of the drive. And then Bowman just continuing to churn his legs. Here he goes right up the middle. Busted through a tackle inside the 5 and stopped just shy of the end zone. An excellent job by Bowman as he substitutes off the field. Same thing with Miles Bennett. Taylor Booz enters the game as a second tight end with Drew Davidson. Travis Jones enters the backfield with Kelly Hall. I look for Averett to possibly throw the football here. 2nd and 2. It's going to be a handoff. Jones right up the middle. Can he at least get the first down? He's close. It is not 2nd and goal. The first down marker at right about the 1, and Travis Jones is close. So Averett can still get a first down, but there is a flag on the field. And the flag is on the defense. And it's half the distance to the goal, but it sets up a first down for the Averett Cougars. Sean Bowman comes back into the ball game. And here's a chance for Averett to just punch it in. Kelly Hall is going to stay in the gun, as they often do. 2 tight ends for the Cougars. Guilford stacks the box. Bowman lowers the shoulder. Touchdown, Averett. Sean Bowman caps off a fantastic drive with a touchdown. An offensive possession an offensive line coach can be proud of right there. A lot of rushing. And an offensive line that got a lot of push. Good snap, good hold, and the extra point is no good, and we are tied at 20. Westbury missed it to the right. There's a flag on the field. That is Wilson Gregory. Looks like he lost a helmet. So if they're going to re-kick, and they will, it's offsides. Gregory, however, and this is something to watch since Wilson Gregory, who's normally on that special teams unit, has to substitute out since he lost his helmet. It is an NCAA rule. So coming in at left guard on the field goal unit is Spencer Dowdle. He is a starter along the offensive line, an experienced offensive lineman, but just something to look for. So a re-kick for the Cougars. And it's up, and it is good. A host of penalties in this game. But that one benefits the Cougars as it gives Cole Westbury an opportunity to re-kick. And instead, the extra point is good. Your score, 21-20, Averett on top, as we have 2 minutes remaining before we go into the first quarter. The fourth quarter. I'm all over the place tonight. Long day, folks. It's 2:02 here in the third. Guilford set to kick off. Here in just a few moments, we'll go back and look at some of the other action in the USA South. We mentioned Huntington scoring 65 today over Belhaven. 65-21 victory. They're 3-0. Ferrum defeated Hampton-Sydney. We talked about that one, where Hampton-Sydney now 0-3 for, I think, the first time I can remember in my recent memory of the Hampton-Sydney Tigers squad. So Ferrum 2-1 in the USA South. LaGrange also 2-1. And then Maryville rounding it out of the teams above 500 in the USA South with a victory today. It's a high end-over-end kick. This one's very shallow. Caught at the 25. It's going to be about he stays on his feet. Derek Bell almost brings it up to the 35. Took a big hit at the 30. Instead, he picks up a couple extra. And it'll be Guilford bringing their offense onto the field, starting the drive at about the 34. Let's see what the Quaker offense can do. That is Causey in the backfield. Takes the handoff. He's going to get popped. Able to lower his shoulder and fall forward for a couple extra. Tyreek Abel, who's had himself a fantastic game so far, playing in that safety role. Saw, as we mentioned, typically has been a perimeter player, not this week. Miller throws complete. That is Russell making several Cougars miss and is finally chased down. That is Darius Patterson. Excuse me. Good for a Guilford College first down. Russell chased down by Nicholas Brown, the junior defensive tackle. Does that carry up the middle? Not much. Got a couple. Maybe 4 for Kazi on the play. Guilford offensive line has been struggling so far today. More struggles in the first half than the second. Starting to put together some drives, getting in a rhythm. Throw over the middle, big hit, staying on his feet. Tackled by Covington. Another big hit, that is Burley, who delivered the shoulder. Still, Miller, who has caught a touchdown in this one, was able to take and absorb the contact. Hold on to the football. It's first down Quakers from the Averett 32. Here's Miller looking to his left, staying to his left. Receiver is looking for a call, and he's not going to get it. Instead, it's an incompletion, setting up 2nd and 10. We've had one turnover in this game. We saw Caleb Williams with a big interception in the second quarter. High snap. Messes up the timing on the screen, and it's incomplete. That's not the first bad snap we've seen tonight. That's the first one that really affected the offense, though. The first bad snap almost just became a direct snap to Bell. He was able to make a positive gain on the play. This time it set up an incompletion. Messed up the timing on the screen. The fans on their feet. 3rd and 10. Pressure. Miller complete and tackled shy of the marker. Bradley Jefferson trailing Woodruff and making the stop on the redshirt senior wide receiver.
Fans, if you'll turn your attention to the field toward the scoreboard end, it's time for tonight's.
And that'll do it
Sponsored by Coke.
for the third quarter. At the end of 3, it is Averett on top of Guilford by 1, 21-20. Another solid week of action here between the USA South and the ODAC. Of course, week 1, Averett took away a big victory and defeated Hampton-Sydney in the whiteout in the opening game. Last week, Averett brought back a loss from Randolph-Macon, a very, very strong team in the ODAC. And right now, Averett ahead by 1 over the Guilford Quakers. Definitely one of the top teams in the ODAC, despite graduating a lot of players in the offseason. First play of the fourth quarter coming up. Karsten Miller with Derek Bell in the backfield. Throws in, incomplete. Tyreek Abel almost had an interception. And that's going to set up a huge fourth down. Excuse me, that's going to set up the first down for the Cougars as the offense set to come out onto the field. Kelly Hall leading the charge. That looks like Desmond Springs a little slow to get off the field from deep in the defensive secondary. Walking it off along the sidelines. Here's going to be Travis Jones. Scoots up the middle, lowers the shoulder, fighting for more yards, and brought down 2 yards shy of the first down marker. Sets up 2nd and 3.
Got a second down, short yardage to go.
Talk about a strong showing from this Cougar defense. Multiple fourth down stops, multiple third down stops, as this is Jones again to the left side. This time he will get the first down, crosses the 40. Sets up 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. Kelly Hall, running back about a yard deeper than he is. That's Jones. Shifting through the line, picks up about 3 or 4. See where they spot it. Well, actually, they'll call it 2.
Second down and 6 for you.
Your scoreboard says 2nd and 6. It's more like 2nd and 8. And there it changes. Trips to the right, tight end to the left for Hall. It's going to be a handoff. Hall breaks through the tackle from the chase down. Instead gets positive yardage. Taken down at the 44. It'll be 3rd and 7. For Averett, they're going to have trips right, tight end on the left. Running back to the right, here's Hall. Rolls to his right. Fires to the middle of the field and incomplete. Miles Bennett was the intended receiver. So the incompletion will bring the punting unit back onto the field. Hunter Long's had a solid afternoon. Had one tough punt. He's had a couple of very nice punts since then. Good snap. And a very high punt. It's going to be out of bounds along the Averett sideline. Not much distance on it. That referee marking it off, still going. He will mark that off around the 38-yard line. So Guilford starting in their own territory at about the 39. They'll start with a 1st and 10. Averett defense set to go. Still no sight of Darren Marison. He left the game earlier with an injury. Tommy Lucas in at defensive tackle. This is Derek Bell, tripped up by Kenneth Covington. He has had himself a ball game. Covington's had several tackles here in this one. Hand off to Bell again. Tripped up close to the 50. That is Caleb Williams bringing him down. Kenneth Covington and Don Warren, each with 5 solo tackles, lead the Cougars with 7 total apiece. Made their presence felt on the defensive end. Here is Miller to throw. He's got a pass rush. It's going to be Tyreek Russell wide open on the near side. He's going to be tackled shy of the 30. Here is Miller. Looking to throw all the time in the world. Pocket finally breaks down and incomplete. Intended for Rontavius Miller. Flag is down by the quarterback. It's going to be on the offense. Whatever. Oh, yeah. So that'll push the Quakers back 10. It'll stay 1st down. First and 20. Bell, almost a false start. It looked like he was moving forward at the snap. No flag down. And big hit as the receiver is sandwiched, and they're going to call a helmet to helmet. I think that's going to be on Antoine Harper. The receiver got sandwiched along the near numbers. That looked like Dejon Brooks and Antoine Harper converging on him, and you see Harper over on the near the sidelines with one of the Averett coaching staff. He's got his arm around him, and it looks like that is going to be on Harper. It was definitely a big hit. There's no replay system here. But the flag is going to be on the Cougars. Wow. And with the targeting call, Antoine Harper has been ejected from the game. That's a big loss for the Cougars. He has been an absolute stud in the middle of this defense here tonight. Really a bang-bang play, a very, very quick play. Gets that young man ejected. Big throw down the sideline, almost intercepted.
Desmond Springs with the near interception. We look at the two deep. It's hard to tell who's going to be replacing Harper on a consistent basis here. This is Bell. Makes several Cougars miss. Gets himself a huge ball game, a huge gain inside the 20. Derek Bell continuing to do some work on the ground. From the 11-yard line, Miller hands off to Bell. Defense converges. Bell squeaks through some tacklers and is near the first down marker already. We're about just a couple plays in here, 2 plays after the ejection of Antoine Harper, and already a huge difference we're seeing in the yardage for Derek Bell. High snap, screen, Tyreek Russell. He's going to be brought down for a loss. Jamal Forney, the senior safety for the Cougars. Give him another tackle. Forney, his second on the game. And for Tyreek Russell, 15 receptions. They've been targeting him all game long. It's 3rd and 6. Bell. This is Miller looking to his right. End zone. In and out of the hands of Woodruff. And it's incomplete. Sets up a 4th down. And the field goal unit will come on to the field for Guilford. And they will try to take the lead here on 4th and 6 inside the 10-yard line. Fuentes on the field goal attempt. Good snap. Good hold. And the kick is good. So Fuentes has put Guilford on top, at least at the moment. We had whistles after the play. And that penalty is on the Cougars. It'll be declined. And the kick is good. So 23-21. Your score here in Danville. The Cougars trail by 2 with under 10 minutes to go in the 4th. 23-21 Guilford. Stay with us on AU Sports Network. We'll be right back. And we are back. The kickoff is caught by Jones around the 5-yard line, and he's not going to make it back to the 20. We've seen Jones get more touches here in the second half. Really has not had the type of day we're used to seeing out of him. He's struggled a little bit running the football. He's had a couple of decent returns. That time he was stopped for a very minimal gain on special teams. So Kelly Hall set to lead the charge for the Cougars offense, down by 2. A field goal gives them the lead. Cole Westbury 2 for 6 on field goal attempts in the season. Hit a 28-yard field goal last week in Ashland, Virginia against Randolph-Macon. Here's the handoff. It's Bowman to the right side. He got a good block from Drew Davidson, driving Hunter Hoots at the point of attack. Second down for the Cougars, approaching 9 minutes to go here in the ball game. So Bowman has been the main man in the backfield for the Cougars, over 100 yards on the ground now, as he gets another carry. Kelly Hall, a seemingly limited day throwing the football for the Cougars quarterback. 9 out of 13, 92 yards. He does have 2 touchdowns. Sean Bowman, over 100 yards rushing, 13 carries, a $111 for him. Here's Hall. On the rollout, throws in through the hands of Miles Bennett, who can't believe it. Very upset with himself on that one. It'll be a punt for the Cougars. So 4th down and 4 from their own 24. That's a big drive to come up short for the offense, as Hunter Long comes out looking to punt the football. Low punt, spiraling. It's going to take a bounce. It'll bounce out of bounds at about the 42. Landed right there at the sidelines. It'll actually be marked out at the 43. So the Averett defense comes back onto the field. Down Antoine Harper. He was ejected for targeting. So Jamal Forney has moved up into a linebacker role along with Caleb Williams. Averett running that 4-2-5 defensive system. Here is Derek Bell down the far sideline on the left. The 30, the 25, and taken down near the 20. And Guilford makes a huge play. The offensive line just keeps grinding for the Quakers. And Derek Bell keeps churning his feet. Player down for the Cougars. That sideline over there is loud. For Derek Bell, that 36-yard rush will put him over 100 yards. 21 carries, 125 yards for the Guilford halfback. So for this Guilford runner, over 100 yards in his first 3 games to start the year, that is Tyreek Abel, who walks off the field under his own power. Might just be a cramp needing to get stretched out or something. He appears as if he'll be back in the game shortly. Miller with Bell. Bell takes the handoff up the middle. Spins through again. He just keeps going. Dejon Brooks taking him down. So 2nd and 6. We'll call it 2nd and 5 for Guilford. Miller looking to his left, rolls to his left when it breaks down, trucks forward. Ball is out. And he was ruled down.
Miller with the keeper loses ball, but not before he's called down.
A collective gasp in the stadium. Guilford fans fearing the worst. Averett fans hoping for the best. Here is Derek Bell. He will lean forward for the first down, backpedaling against the Averett defensive rush. So another 3rd down conversion where Guilford struggled in the first half. They have improved here in the 2nd. 1st and goal. Miller throws, incomplete, intended for Tyreek Russell, who's had a career evening. That would have been his 16th reception. Instead, it's incomplete and sets up a 2nd and goal from the 10-yard line. Bell up the middle, churning his legs. He'll be marked down after 5. Overall, for the Quakers, 179 yards on the ground, 43 rush attempts as a team. It was a much different story in the first half when Averett had the lead. On 3rd and 5, throws, end zone, complete, touchdown Quakers. Daniel Woodruff, the senior wide receiver, using his size, he's been all over the field. And this is an opportunity for Fuentes to get some redemption on his missed extra point. An opportunity to give Guilford a 2-possession lead with under 6 minutes to go. Kick is up. It is good. Your score, Guilford on top, under 6 minutes to go, 30-21. Averett gets the ball when we come back, looking to make a stand and drive and try to get this one back within reach. Stay with us on AU Sports Network. And we are back here on AU Sports Network. The kickoff after the score, 30-21. Guilford on top. Here's Travis Jones. Averett needs a big play. He stops his feet, and he's going to be taken down just after getting across the 20-yard line. Well, down 2 possessions. If I'm Averett, this is my 4-minute offense mark. I'm going to run no huddle. I'm going to run it calmly. I'm not going to rush, but I'm going to speed up the tempo, and I'm going to try to create some rhythm. Short, quick passes. Find some momentum. Try to set up a receiver to get some yards after the catch. But you have to do something on this drive with a Guilford 9-point lead. Jones is going to motion out. Watch the screen pass. Here it is. And a big defensive play. Jones breaks the tackle, and he's only going to get back to the 20. That was Taquar Stewart, who read that one like a book. Wasn't able to make the tackle, but he was there. And that's a tough play for the Cougars, especially on a quick screen like that or a quick swing pass. You can't have Owens block yet. Here is Hall, steps up in the pocket, makes a man miss, going to roll to his right, and he's going to be sacked. That is Hunter Hoots. And the flags come out. Remember, it's laundry day here in Danville on Saturday. We've had a lot of penalties. Let's see what this one is. We've had a lot of unsportsmanlike. Here comes the official word. It looks like it's going to be on Guilford, and it is. An unsportsmanlike conduct results in a 15-yard penalty. And the Quakers not only give up the 15 yards, but will hand Averett a fresh set of downs. 1st and 10 from the 34. Averett's got to get in the business of putting points on the board, not kicking the ball away. Down 9. 5 minutes to play. Fakes the swing pass. Hall going to roll back to his right, and he's going to try to hop out of bounds. He's going to be slammed into the Guilford sideline. And Kelly Hall sprints out of the mess, picks up maybe a handful of yards. This has certainly been a good game here so far. This 9-point lead is the largest lead in the game for either side. We have a stoppage of play here right now. Looks like it may be a sideline warning on Guilford. There's quite a few officials over there. Looked like they were trying to signal get back. Most teams starting in high school have a get back coach, usually just a coach on the sidelines. Might run the scout team during the week, but usually he'll be in charge of just yelling get back. Got to move the players back. Can only be so close to the field before it warrants a penalty from the officials. That looked like a sideline warning. So 2nd and 5 from the Averett 39. Here's Kelly Hall. Pressure comes. Escapes the blitz. He's got Travis Jones right there with him. Instead, he's going to take it out of bounds himself. Picks up maybe 2 or 3. A flag in the backfield indicates holding on Averett. We'll wait for the word. So the 10-yard penalty will push the Cougars back. It will stay 2nd down. It'll be 2nd and 15. Travis Jones called for the hold on that one. They run the clock, approaching 4.5 minutes to play. Over the middle, wide open! Miles Bennett crosses the opponent's 40-yard line. What a touch pass from Kelly Hall. Just enough air under the football for Miles Bennett to run under it. Bennett's had himself a big game caught the touchdown in the back of the end zone. Continuing to make plays here down the stretch, down 9. Hall in the pocket, throws up. Terrence Owens, and in and out of his hands. A great play by Stewart on the defensive end. Terrence Owens has not had a big game here today like he has the past 2 weeks. Almost had a big moment right there. But with the incompletion, the clock stops at 4:19. You're still down 2 possessions. Here is Hall. Drops back in the pocket. Throws it up again. This is Owens. Flag on the field. And I think that's what Kelly Hall might have been going for both those times. Maybe flag fishing. There's been plenty of them. The situation would indicate it's defensive pass interference, and it is. Tarek Stewart with a nice play on the first deep ball attempt to Owens the play before. That time he interfered. He's trying to say it was incidental contact, but play will continue. 1st and 10 inside the 25 at the 23. Excuse me, the 22. Here is Hall. Looks left again. This is Bowman. Spin move. He's going to be tackled inside the 20. Forward progress stopped there. It'll set up 2nd, and we'll call it about 6.5. Under 4 minutes in the game. Averett can settle for a field goal here, but that makes things complicated. Hall back to the middle of the field. He's going to take the sack. The sprint out to the right kind of limited his vision, but the pressure was coming. So Travis Jones comes into the backfield. It's going to be 3rd and 9. Averett needs to make some noise. Over the middle. It's going to be caught. Touchdown Cougars. Terrence Owens. He's been quiet so far. 3rd touchdown pass of the game for Kelly Hall. For Owens, his 2nd catch. His 1st touchdown of the afternoon, 2nd of the season. Westbury on the extra point. Good snap, good hold, and the extra point is good. It's going to be a 2-point ball game, 30-28. Don't touch that dial yet. It's not over. It's been back and forth all night. 3:08 to play, 30-28. Guilford on top. Stay with us here on AU Sports Network. We'll be right back. Back here on AU Sports Network. Matt, the Dean of AU Sports, Johnson on the dial for you here. High kick fumbled by Derek Bell. The coverage was close. He picks it up, and he's going down the sideline. he will be out of bounds, shy of the 25. Almost a big moment on special teams. We've seen a couple of them here at this stadium. No question about that over the years. A lot of big special teams moments happen if you are a fan of Averett football. Throughout the years, the standard of excellence on that side of the ball. That time Guilford avoiding a big mistake. And instead they keep possession, 3:02 to play. 1st and 10 from their own 22, up by 2. Guilford wants to trim this clock down. Hands off. Derek Bell, big hole up the middle, close to a first down. We'll see where the spot is. Looks like Coach Adams wants a timeout. For Bell, we mentioned earlier, over the 100-yard mark once again. However, that last carry won't add to his totals. Or excuse me, it will. Let's see what the flag is there. With the offsides, it'll set up 1st and 5. Clock runs because of the rushing play on the offsides. The clock will continue to wind. 8 seconds on the play clock. Here's the snap, handoff to the right side, close to the sticks. That was Bell. Talk about a workhorse. And that will be the first timeout taken. Averett will have 2 timeouts remaining. So under 2.5 minutes to play, 30-28. Guilford in charge of this one for the moment. It is going to be 2nd and 2 when we come back out of the timeout. Stay with us here on AU Sports Network. We'll be right back. We are back here on Averett Sports Network. 2:23 remaining in the contest, 30-28. Guilford with the lead, 2nd and short. Derek Bell is going to pick up the first down after he's brought down. That was Ross on the stop, Octavius Ross. That'll be Averett's 2nd used timeout. 1 remains. So Coach Adams electing to burn those timeouts now. This becomes an extremely critical set of downs here on this 1st and 10. With 1 timeout remaining, the play clock will take it down so much, but a first down for Guilford right here wins the ball game. This defense has really stepped up its game against one of the best offensive lines in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, one of the best offensive lines in this area as a whole. A lot of all-conference awards along that front 5 on the Guilford offense. Miller hands it off. Bell. He's going to be brought down. Short gain Octavius Ross on the stop. It'll be timeout. That'll be the final timeout for Coach Cleve Adams. It'll be 2nd and 9 when we come out of the timeout. Averett out of timeouts, 1:59 remaining. It's a one-possession ball game, 30-28. Stay with us here on AU Sports Network. We'll be right back with the conclusion of this Week 3 matchup, Averett and Guilford. Guilford with a chance to end this one. 2nd and 9. He's going to throw it. Derek Bell has a man, and it's incomplete. What an interesting call. Second and 9. Your opponent is out of timeouts, and you throw the football. The clock is stopped for Averett. They got an extra timeout out of the deal. And if they stop Guilford right here, Guilford would seemingly punt. They've been going for it today, but at this stage in the game, you'd have to play the field position battle. Here's the handoff. It's going to be kept by Miller. He's got an opening, and he is going to be stopped right at the sticks. This is really close. There's a player down, and I was going to say that could bring up a runoff situation if with Averett out of timeouts and a player down. Instead, the player gets up. That looks like Don Warren. Definitely have to get up with no timeouts in the time situation they're at. An injury right now would not just hurt their player, but hurt the team and take some time off the clock. Let's see what this measurement is. And that'll do it. Guilford lets out the cheer. That signals that this one is over. And really, what was so close to a dream scenario for the Cougars with the incomplete pass on 2nd and 9 from Karsten Miller. Just, I question the thought behind that, but it worked out for Guilford as Karsten Bell was able to lower his shoulder, pick up exactly about 9 yards and maybe an inch to get that first down. And now all he has to do is sit on the football, and Guilford's going to take this one back to Greensboro in their back pocket, a 2-point victory for the Quakers as Averett's unable to make oatmeal out of Guilford. Play clock down to 5. Guilford sits on it one more time, and they'll have to do it once again to put this one in the books with the play clock situation. Actually, it looks like that might do it. We might have a little discussion. But that will put Averett at a 1-2 start to the season. A big victory over Hampton-Sydney to open the year. The loss last week up in Ashland, Virginia at Randolph-Macon. This one started so promising.
Tonight's game, Guilford College
But instead, it's going to be Guilford with the comeback victory, down for a large portion of this game, able to squeak out a 2-point victory. Your final is Guilford College 30, Averett University 28. And don't forget, coming up here on Averett Sports Network, it's going to be our English construction post-game show. It'll be myself, Matt, the Dean of AU Sports Johnson, bringing you more coverage of your Averett University Cougars. We'll break down the 4 quarters of action we just watched, and we'll take a quick look at what's coming up in 2 weeks, as next week Averett goes on the bye week. So stay with us here on AU Sports Network. Like I mentioned, it'll be our English construction post-game show coming right up. My name is Matt Johnson. Stay with us. Your final, Guilford takes this one 30-28 over your Cougars. Stay with us on AU Sports Network. Welcome back to Averett Sports Network. My name is Matt Johnson here on the dial for you folks at home. Thank you for joining us here. This is our English Construction post-game show, brought to you in part by Big Sky Rentals
This is going to be our Big Sky Rentals post-game analysis. Stressed out over planning a wedding or hosting a special event? Need rental equipment for that construction or landscaping project you've wanted to start? Then go see the folks down at Big Sky Rents and Events, who remind you that their inventory really is as big as the Montana sky. So looking at some of our post-game analysis, it was a 14-7 lead for the Cougars at halftime. Did a very good job containing the ground attack of Guilford, only allowing 39 rushing yards here in the first half, as opposed to the 144 they allowed in the second half. Definitely a huge difference in the ground game for Guilford in the two halves. Definitely also a huge improvement on third downs, converting 6 out of 8 third downs in the second half. Definitely a change of pace from the first two quarters, where they were 2 of 9. So Averett's defense unable to get off the field as the game wore on. It was a lot of Derek Bell and Tyreek Russell, who had 15 receptions. Derek Bell had another game over 100 yards on the ground. We will discuss that here coming up. But continuing to look at some of the breakdown, Averett was able to get a lot of pressure on quarterback Karsten Miller for Guilford. We discussed it in the pregame show, our Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show. We mentioned one of the keys to success was not just the ground game and establishing a tough tempo to the game defensively in the front seven, try to knock that offensive line off their blocking routes and try to corral all the Guilford runners. Did so in the first half. We mentioned just 39 yards. And part of that, the other thing we mentioned that was crucial to the every game plan was try to disrupt Karsten Miller in the pocket and not just stop the run, but stop him from scrambling, keep him contained, make him throw from the pocket. He made some good decisions, made some bad decisions, was only intercepted once. But all in all, a performance that was good enough for Guilford to win for Karsten Miller. Really, it was Derek Bell and more than Karsten Miller, it was Tyreek Russell, the freshman wide receiver, who just seemed to be eating up everybody who stepped into the slot to cover him. He had 15 receptions for 136 yards here this evening. He did not seem to be that big of a threat coming in, but he sure proved that he can get open in a hurry. A lot of quick routes, a lot of 1-2-step catch and throw type drops for Karsten Miller resulted in most of Russell's receptions. Did a lot of work underneath, able to pick up short first downs, really when the running game was not going as well as Guilford would have liked. He was the one they turned to for short pickups. The short passing game can often substitute for the run, and that's what Guilford did on that one. So that was our Big Sky Rentals post-game analysis. We're going to move to our American National Bank big money player of the game. And in our first half, we spoke a lot about Kelly Hall, and we're going to continue to speak about Kelly Hall here in this one. Kelly Hall did a fantastic job, completing 13 out of 19 passes, 146 yards, but those are a little bit on the lighter side of numbers for what we're used to seeing out of the Averett QB, the junior quarterback. But he did have 3 touchdowns to go with that. Was able to find Miles Bennett, Terrence Owens for touchdowns. Also found he was also able to find Miles Bennett in the end zone. Michael Barber Jr., his lone catch was for 18 yards and a score. Miles Bennett caught the second touchdown in the back of the end zone, putting Averett up 14-7. And then it was at the end of the game, Terrence Owens, Averett fighting to get back into this one, was able to catch a touchdown driving toward the field house that made it 30-28. But Kelly Hall, all along the day, led the offense with composure, with confidence, and he did it well, was able to move the football against Guilford, and you put up only 146 passing yards, but you look at what the threat of Kelly Hall does to open up the running game. 137 rush yards on only 36 carries for the Cougars. Total offensive yardage was 283, so compared to Guilford's 474, really, it's a little misleading, but really Averett did a good job controlling the tempo. Guilford won the time of possession, basically 32.5 to 27.5. Really not too much of a gap, but still the difference was Guilford in the second half running the football down the throat of the Averett defense. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap up our English Construction postgame show. We're going to look at our Averett Booksellers' final stats, our Coca-Cola look ahead, and we will wrap things up here for you on AU Sports Network. Stay with us. We will be right back after a quick break. Welcome back to Averett Sports Network here on our English Construction post-game show, wrapping up our second broadcast of the season for you folks at home. Looking at our Averett Booksellers' final stats, we'll run down some of the key team statistics. We have already mentioned a couple, but we'll run through it one more time for you folks at home. Of course, Guilford edging Averett out 30-28 here in this one. 31 first downs for Guilford, nearly doubling up Averett's 16. So a lot of chain moving for the Quakers. The Averett defense, as we mentioned, unable to get off the field on third downs late in this ball game. Continuously struggling all throughout. Allowed 6 out of 8 third down conversions after halftime, and that's a big portion of where Guilford was able to make up ground and retake the lead as Averett entered halftime up 14-7. So continuing to look down, Karsten Miller made some good decisions, as we mentioned. Also, as we mentioned, made some bad decisions. He was only intercepted once, only one turnover for the Quakers quarterback. He did play well enough to get the job done, that is for certain. He had 291 yards through the air as Guilford completed a performance of 93 plays and 474 yards, but still only able to put up the 30 on Averett. Had some big plays. Derek Bell even had a big special teams punt return to add onto his total of yards. Had a lot of rushing yards as well, over 100 on that one. Had 146 yards on the ground. Continuing to look through our stats here, it was a game filled with penalties. We had over 200 yards of penalties here combined in this one. 103 for Averett on 11 penalties and 98 yards on 10 penalties for Guilford. So there was a lot of laundry on the field, and there was a lot of discipline to be handed out by the officials. We even had an ejection after a targeting penalty. That was on Antoine Harper, middle linebacker for the Cougars. It was a sandwich-type play. He was sandwiched by two defenders. The defender from behind appeared to hit the offensive ball carrier hard enough, or the pass receiver, hard enough that his head kind of jerked and caused contact with the players' helmets, Harper and the receiver, and Harper got the worst end of that. The player, of course, was not injured, but Harper was ejected, and Averett received a 15-yard targeting penalty. So a tough break for the Cougars on that. Definitely shifted a lot of momentum, but so did the rest of their 11 penalties for 103 yards. And really, Guilford had the same issue. Averett only 3 of 11 on third down compared to where they started at 2 for 6. They weren't seeing a lot of third downs, and then all of a sudden they couldn't make any momentum and create positive plays on 1st and 10 and 2nd down. So it became a tough uphill battle for the Cougars. On 4th down, Guilford converted the only 4th down that mattered at the end of the game. They were 1 for 5 on 4th down. They did fail in 2 red zone chances. They were 5 of 7 in the red zone, whereas Averett was a perfect 4 for 4. So that is going to wrap up your Averett Booksellers Bookstore final stats, and we're going to take a quick look ahead here on our Coca-Cola look ahead. Looking at next week, it's going to be a bye week for the Cougars, so we'll look at the week after where Averett will take on LaGrange in Georgia. So a big matchup for the Cougars always. It's one of those games that a lot of guys will get up for, a big travel game. You go to the hotel, you'll do your best to get a good night's sleep, even though it's a different setting, totally different feel to it as opposed to a day trip or a home game where you go to a team hotel, you'll have a walkthrough, maybe a team function. It's a little different. You get a little more excited. You get out of class on a Friday, but you got a big game in a very humid area in Georgia. So LaGrange 2-1 here on this early part of the season, whereas Averett has fallen to 1-2 here in the early going. That'll open up conference play for both teams, as Averett has played 3 straight Old Dominion Athletic Conference opponents, whereas next week is going to officially begin conference play in the USA South. LaGrange, we mentioned 2-1, won earlier today, defeating Ave Maria 54-17. That was earlier today. LaGrange has put up over 45 points twice and over 35 points 3 times here in this early season. So it should be what we expect to be a high-scoring affair, as we did with this one, and even Hampton City and Randolph Macon, a lot of high-scoring affairs here in the early going. And that will be 2 weeks from now, because next week we will actually be off broadcasting for the next 3 weeks. Next week a bye week. The week after in LaGrange, and then October 8th will be Methodist. So quite a layoff here for you folks at home, but then we will return a week after. It'll be October 15th. That'll be our homecoming game. We'll host Greensboro, and we'll be back here on the dial for you folks at home at 6 p.m. here at Frank Campbell Stadium. And we're going to take one look at what we got. Yeah, it's going to be a 6 p.m. start against Greensboro for homecoming. LaGrange, 2 weeks from tonight, will be a 5 p.m. game, and Methodist a 1 o'clock game. Of course, you can catch all those broadcasts on the home team website, LaGrange, then Methodist, here in the coming weeks. And then, of course, homecoming against Greensboro. Averett Sports Network will be back bringing you that one live on October 15th. That'll be our next broadcast, our 3rd out of 5 home games this season. So that's about going to wrap us up here on our English Construction post-game show. We appreciate all you folks at home joining us here for Guilford and Averett. Guilford on top of Averett in this one, 30-28, improving to 2-1. Averett falls to 1-2. My name is Matt, the Dean of AU Sports Johnson. You can check me out on YouTube. You can pull up any of my football broadcasts, and including some basketball broadcasts from here at Averett. if you're interested in any more work I do, I am a sports staff writer for GreensboroSports.com. I cover North Carolina A&T, who suffered a big loss to Tulsa University earlier today. So if you are interested in coverage of North Carolina A&T, you can check me out on GreensboroSports.com, and great website. Also, you Guilford fans at home, please check us out at GreensboroSports.com. We will have wrap-up coverage of this game as well. So please check us out, and thank you for checking us out here on Averett Sports Network. My name, again, is Matt Johnson, the Dean of AU Sports, and we thank you very much for joining us on this fine Saturday evening. We'll be back on the microphone for you on October 15th. Next week is a bye week for Averett, and the week after, they will be in Georgia to face LaGrange College. So stay up to date on all your Averett information at www.averettcougars.com. We will be back to you, like I said, October 15th here for homecoming. Thank you for joining us. Guilford wins 30-28 over Averett. Good night from Averett Sports Network.